Let's Hunt is a video series with tactics, weapons, locations, and other useful tips, always around one particular animal. Look at this beautiful place. We're hunting the Alpine Ibex, and for that, today I'm wearing the Australia-inspired Outback camouflage, and this is why. There's quite a selection of outfits available that work against deer species, but the Ibex is not a deer, it's a goat. The map here is Val-des-Bois and it's a summer map, so you could wear the sneaky 3D summer camouflage. However, that only works in forests, so the only option we have left is the Outback outfit. Now I could add face paint to increase the visual protection, but I just don't like that on the trophy shots. I'm starting my hunts here at 12 o'clock. At that time of the day, we have full sunshine right onto these mountainsides. This is really important so we can see the ibexes better. They blend in nicely with their gray color. Sometimes you can hear them, or clues lead to a certain area, but you just can't see them because of bad lighting. So having good lighting conditions is really important. And as far as their behavior, I find that any time of the day you will find ibex up here. So pick 12 o'clock is really good time. There are two places where I hunt ibex. The first place is up here where I have a tent. To get there from the lodge, you come up here. You have to climb here, but here you can walk. These two climbing sections you can pass. You can walk up here, put your tent here, and then you have a perfect starting point for ibex. From here you can go either up here or over here, depending on where the ibex take you. Okay, so usually there is ibex fairly close already because the border is quite close as well. There is this wall here where you will find ibex very often. You cannot climb it, but to me it seems a little like the ibex get stopped by the wall. They start climbing around there. Their roaming speed is average, but once they hit a steep wall they go a bit slower, so that's why I see them often there. As far as the weapon, by the way, I really like the 3006 for ibex, and while I'm loading it I'm getting a clue from a male below me, and likely on that wall I was just talking about. So let's see here. There's a rather nice male down there. I like the 3006 because it's a reliable weapon. I really like the sound. It's not the most powerful weapon, not the most powerful rifle, but then again the ibex isn't the biggest animal either. So I'll try if I can do a shot from here. When you lay down you cannot aim down in a very steep angle. I'm not sure if this is going to be a good shot. I'd love it to give me the sight actually. So I was showing you how you can walk up to the tent. Down at this ridge you have to climb. This is where one climbing gear is required. But then to get here you can walk up here. You can bypass those passages. You can just walk up here and you will come up here to the tent. And I'm talking a little bit in the hope that this ibex, which has very decent horns, will give me its flank so I can shoot it from the side. And while I'm waiting for that, the reason I like this place really is the border is very close here, and there's always a few ibex. Once you walk up there you can hear a clue rather soon, and then from there going west I'm mostly running, looking after large males. The heaviest male is 120 kilograms, and Wow, it's got really nice horns, and it's now giving me the side, and I cannot aim down. So from the crouching position, I got him, but it was not a really good shot. It was too far behind. So what I will do here is I will go down there, pick it up, and then fast travel back to the tent, and then start the hunt that I actually wanted to do. You have to be a bit flexible. Sometimes you have really a route in mind. You think you know where you're going, but let the animals take you where they are. You're after them after all. .242, certainly a nice buck worth a trophy shot, and it does look funny with the outback camouflage, um, but well, it's a game. I don't like the trophy shot. I will discard it and fast travel back to the tent, and now go from here. From here I will walk until I know there is a herd up there or not, but I will not run here. Of course I shot the rifle. I spooked anything close, but it was actually right at the tent, so I wouldn't expect any Ibex quite there near enough to hear me or to hear the shot. So I'm always looking for heavy bucks that show me an estimation up to 120 kilograms, maybe 115 is still good. A heavy buck will not necessarily be a good score, but if it's a very small buck, it'll most likely be a low score. So there's some correlation between weight and score, and I've had good results just going after the heavy ones. So there's again this wall here. Oftentimes I see one there climbing around. It's now within reach, within the rendering distance of 220 meters. And with the good daylight, we should see if there's any around. The worst is actually when it's going to rain and you never know. I mean, right now it looks like a nice day out, but the rain can set in any time, and hunting ibex in rain is really difficult because then you have gray ibex sitting on gray rocks behind gray rain. It's just really difficult. Most of the time the ibex travel in groups. Sometimes you see singles like the buck we just saw, and they have really good senses. I often hear them run and I didn't even know they were there. They can sense you from far away, they can hear you well. But the good thing is when they flee, they chirp. You can hear the chirping almost like a whistling, and you know they're there, they're running away. That's not the same with a group of blacktails that run away from you in the woods and you don't even know they were there. You don't know that they were fleeing animals. But with the ibex you know they are there. And you can actually use that to your advantage when you come into an area where you assume there is a few. You can just run and wait for chirping and then see them run around and flee. And this actually is one of these areas. So let me run up there and see if there's anything happening. So there's none here today, or at least not anymore. Buck going this way. I don't like this passage too much. You can go there, but then there's some steep places. It's not really good for hunting. It's got some steep rocks. Once you fall down the rocks, you cannot climb up, back up, and so forth. So you have to walk all the way back around, like around there and around the wall there, and come back up here. So I'm gonna avoid this for now. And since there's none in the area, I will just run forward, look for heavy tracks, listen for chirping. This buck would have been interesting, ranging up to 110 kilograms, but it's not a super-sized buck. A clue from a goat. Not far from where we came up. And And I will go slowly now, even if I'm going south, hunting into the wind. They have good ears. Every time you get a clue from a female, go after it, because there's a chance there will be a buck there as well. And I fear I have to go really close now, because she's at the bottom of this hill here in front of me. You could hear the chirping. I was hoping for more chirping so I could tell you what a fleeing animal sounds like. I could only hear her once, but I know she's gone. It's really close now, but there's no way to see her down here without coming closer. There she is. They run a funny path sometimes when they're spooked. So I will pick her up and then continue looking for a heavy male. You have to be careful running down these steep passages here, or you could get hurt. So always bring some first aid kits. And when you start sliding, just turn towards the hill and press the forward button, so as if you were running upwards. So you can decrease the sliding speed or the falling speed. Sometimes it's just enough for you to survive until you reach the bottom. So especially if you're in competitions, you can really run around, ignore any tracks from anything that is not really from a heavy buck. If you spook animals, who cares? You just keep going. So here in these woods, actually, sneaky 3D summer camouflage would work. But there's just very few of these areas. It's not worth wearing that for here. I'm really glad to have this outback camouflage available now, these clothes. For some reason it didn't come with gloves, so right now I'm wearing the trapper gloves. They look nice. They go nice with the outback camo. Ranging up to 100 kilograms. That's too small. There's a lot of animals here actually. So if you spend some time running around, usually you will find one or two really ranging up to the maximum weight. That mountain just looks like the Sugarloaf of Rio de Janeiro. There are a few ahead of us, about here. So I will walk from here. Hopefully get a sighting of them soon. So more tracks. Let's see. This is good. But it's a small male and it's within reach. Thought I'd seen another one. So they're somewhere on that ridge up there. There's the buck. Pretty static right now. This is where the other call or the other clue came from before. And they run. I'm not surprised. I was just going to say they might hear me. So when you run after them, they can get confused. They can run around like this. There's a goat. There's the buck. From the size, I would say. But really small horns. And you do not want to shoot after running Ibex unless you really don't care about your hit statistics. This is still okay, but if when they run along a mountain wall like this, something like that, they hop up and down, and it's so hard to hit them. Now this wasn't a very successful run trying to get a really big one, but I think you get the gist of it. Now let's go to the second location and see if we have better luck there. And here we are at our second starting location. This time it is the southern lodge of Val-des-Bois. And from here we'll actually use a little trick. We will fast travel to a tent that we have placed up there. So this is the map, this is the lodge where we start at. And I will fast travel to this tent. Again starting at 12 o'clock. And when we arrive at the tent we have to be careful. Sometimes we're running right into the Ibex, they're right around us. So what I'm going to do is, once I fast travel there, I will immediately go prone and see or listen if there's any Ibex right around me. Okay, so I don't hear any clues. I don't hear any animals in the immediate vicinity. But I will still go slow. There is one. And there is another fleeing. So this was certainly very close. So this trick works very often, that the animals are right here when you get to the tent. Now they spooked, but I will find them. You can use that trick anywhere on any map. When you start in one location, there is a non-spawn radius of 150 meters, and you always have to walk a little bit. But when you fast travel to a place, there is no radius around any tent or lodge other than where you start. But there's another one still very close to me. There's quite a lot going on here. She is nervous. I'm thinking it's a she because she's so close. And how often do you kill an ibex with the bow? So some spooked, some didn't. And remember, I got a call from a buck. Somewhere here ahead of us. So let's stay low. It's a very small male. Not even 80 kilograms. They're not easy to see. They blend in. There is the buck that we heard. And he's nervous, he's chirping, but he's not running away. And I'm just waiting for him to come out of that place. Not the greatest shot, but he's down. There is another one. Oh, he's rather far. Just barely within the rendering range. So this shot needs to be a good one. A better one than the one before. Okay, so this is a pretty cool start here. Always reload. Sometimes I shoot after a few of them when they run. A big one is different. This one is a bit bigger than the other one, but still not the greatest buck. But hunting them up here is fun, not just for the trophy, but for the challenge. The landscape is challenging, the animal is challenging by how it flees, how it climbs. So this is really a great addition, this Ibex hunting. Both the area and the animal are nicely done. And then we will find some tracks. But they're old, 15 minutes old. This one is rather young, and that might be our buck there. From the time and from the size, this could be our buck over there. So the Ibex can move on over the mountains ahead of us, or they can stay in here. There could also be others come here from other places. And since I'm not getting any other clues, what I will do is I will pick this one up and then just repeat it, just to see if we get a similar result. So here we are, trying this once again. This time I will load the gun first. And then off we go, again going prone quickly when arriving. There's certainly tracks here. There's a group that always spawns here, but when you start here, you push them away. Oh, very close, going this way. And that is him. Very close. There he is. Again, a male. And there's no chirping. No sounds from fleeing Ibex. But I really did these hunts in a row. I didn't try 100 times and gave you the best videos to see. This is really just another attempt after the one before. Well, somehow it's pretty lame though. You could not do this in real life. Fast travel to a place and appear in the middle of everyone. But it's a game and here it works. Use it to your advantage. Also not a super big buck, but like mentioned before, the hunting of it is fun. If you find a big one and you have to stalk it, that can be thrilling. It's not like hunting deer in the woods where the challenge is rather small. I think the horns of the ibex are a bit too bright, how they are done, but I'm actually glad because oftentimes all you see is the horns. Oh, there's one running. He's fairly far out. Still running away, maybe still nervous from before. Risky shot. That was just over the rock. And then there's always the question, was he alone? Or did he bring some friends? So again, another buck, if I didn't misinterpret what I saw. Rather quickly. We have now shot, we have now shot 5 bucks in this area now. There's a lot more ibex in the other area where I was first. There I do the running, looking for large tracks. Here it's a different approach. Fly in and check the place out. I should mark it. What I don't know is if the mountain range up there is still within. No, it's not. So they can go up there. Of course, they can climb as well. And right now, I wouldn't see them. Up there is also a good place. Oftentimes you go up here and then over the hill, and you will see some ibex there running along the border. Okay, so I'm not getting any more clues. Not at the current speed. So it looks like there's not going to be any big bucks in this video, but at least you have seen two ways for hunting them. All the bucks that we shot were rather small. Actually, we shot at 242 in the first half, which was nice. But we're going to conclude this here, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed, never got annoyed. Thank you very much. Stay in touch.